Tell me about yourself. This is a question which is most frequently asked at the start of an interview, and how you answer this question can make or break the way the rest of the interview is going to work. Well, you don't have to worry, because in this video, I will share with you the 5-part answer structure that you can use to construct your answer to this question. And I will also demonstrate these 5 parts to you by using a real life example. It is also very important that you answer this question in a very concise way. So at the end of this video, we will rehearse the answer we have constructed for this question in a way that we can deliver it in 2 minutes or less. My name is Jamil Hai, and I've been working in management positions across South Asia, Middle East, and North America for the last 20 years. And my mission is to help you build real life skills for your job and career that they don't teach you in college. So if you're new to this channel, do hit that subscribe button. Let's get started. So first of all, let's try to understand what is the interviewer trying to ask when they ask the question, tell me about yourself. Well, they are definitely not looking for a lot of details on your personal life, where you were born, which school did you go to, and so on and so forth. Because a lot of people make this mistake, so please don't do that. What the interviewer is looking for is a summary of your qualifications, your experiences, and your achievements, because they want to get an overall idea on whether you are the right fit for this job or not. So in order to become a successful candidate, you should try to answer this question in a way that brings out the relevant experiences and achievements and qualifications, which then can help in start the interviewers make up their mind that, okay, this guy is the right fit for the job. So keeping those points in mind, the first part of your answer should be the career one-liner. Hold on, what is a career one-liner? Well, let me explain. A career one-liner has 4 parts. First of all, you need to mention your expertise area like IT, supply chain, finance, and so on. Second part needs to be your industry. So whether you have worked in banking, retail, or if you have worked in multiple industries, then you should name them. The third part should be your number of years of experience. So let's say you have 5 years of experience or 10 years of experience, you mentioned that. And then finally, you should mention the geographies you have worked in. So let's start with this part using a real life example. Let's say in this case, you are applying for an IT manager role in the banking sector, and the role requires you to have experience in management, problem solving, and implementing IT solutions. So keeping this context in mind, your answer could look something like this. I'm an IT professional working in the banking sector for the last 5 years across India and United States. So this is a very simple one-line statement that summarizes your expertise, your industry, your years of work experience, and your geographies. Now let's move to the second part. So now in part 2, you need to summarize your work experiences and your responsibilities for every role that you had from the beginning all the way up to your latest role. Just a side tip that if you have a very long span of career, let's say you have done like 10 years of experience or more, and you've got like 6 or 7 roles, then no need to go into the details of every single role. Just pick and choose 2 or 3 which are the most relevant to the job you're applying for, and follow the structure I'm about to share with you for those roles. So for each of those roles, mention your company's name, your job title, and your key responsibilities. So now let's apply this to our IT manager example. So in this case, you will say that I started as the IT developer at company X in India, where my responsibilities were working with the operations team to identify day-to-day issues with the IT systems and resolve them, and also propose new solutions that would improve the overall efficiency of the organization. I've put some dots here because this part of the answer is still not complete, because we'll come back to part 3 and finish the sentence. But let's move on to the more recent example. And most recently, I was the IT manager of company Y based in Austin, where I led a team of 3 developers and 2 project managers and was responsible for a major SAP ERP upgrade. Once again, I've put some dots here because we are going to come back in part 3 and finish both these sentences. So now let's move to part 3. So in part 3, you need to mention the relevant achievements in each of your roles which apply to the job you're looking for. Remember, this is an IT manager job that requires experience and proven track record in management, in problem solving, and in IT solutions implementations. So how do you bake this into your response? So now let's go back and finish those 2 sentences that we started in part 2. So let's see what this response is going to look like. I started as the IT developer at company X in India, where my responsibilities were working with the operations team to identify the day-to-day issues with the IT systems and resolve them, and also propose new solutions that would improve the overall efficiency of the organization. The biggest highlight for me in this role was to improve our invoice processing time by 50% using some innovative IT solutions. As a result of this, I got the annual award for innovation from my GM. Most recently, I was the IT manager of company X based in Austin, where I led a team of 3 developers and 2 project managers and was responsible for a major SAP ERP upgrade. I was able to deliver the upgrade on time and on budget, although the project involved lots of unexpected problems and a varying level of expertise within my team. So through this response, you have shown that you have an experience in problem solving. You have an experience in managing a complex team where the experience levels were very different, and you were actually successfully able to implement an ERP upgrade, which is a classical example of an IT solutions implementation that this employer is looking for. Now let's move to part 4. In this part, you need to mention briefly one sentence about your personal life without going into any details. Now, if you look at some of the other videos and blogs about how to answer this question, you will probably see a lot of advice where don't go into personal details at all and just talk about your work. I don't think that's a very good approach, especially in today's time and age where a lot of the corporate world is talking about work-life effectiveness, work-life balance, and those kind of things. So it's important that you just briefly, in one sentence, talk about your personal life and also try to bring out something which shows your competencies which are also applicable to this job. So going back to our IT manager example, you could say that on the personal front, I'm married with 1 kid, and when I'm not working, I coach kids to play cricket at my son's school. So in this way, you have given them a brief flavor of your personal life without going into any detail. And you have mentioned a coaching experience. It means that you're coaching kids. It means that you are helping them solve problems. You're managing a group of kids, which also tells a little bit about your management skills. So in this very subtle way, you have given them a flavor of your personal life while bringing out some of the competencies which are required on this job. So now let's come to part 5, which is the final part where you need to conclude by explaining to the interviewer why you think you're the right fit for this job. So this is where you are concluding your overall answer. And you remember you started with the career one-liner, and now you are just trying to summarize your answer and bringing it back to the job because you have walked them through a number of things. You have given them your career one-liner, you have talked about your different roles, you have talked about your achievements, you have just also thrown a little bit of a flavor of your personal life. So now you are just bringing it all together. So going back to our IT manager example, you will say something like, I understand that for this position, you are looking for an IT manager with strong management, problem solving, and project implementation skills. And with my strong background in these areas, I am confident that I can be successful at this job. So you have touched on each of those 3 areas which are required skills or expertise for this job. And you have kind of built a bridge between those 3 skills and what you have just covered so far in a concluding way, so that now you are really set up for the rest of the interview where the interviewer can pick and choose from your experiences and ask more probing questions and really start that dialogue, which is very important for a successful interview. So now let's bring it all together by trying to rehearse this answer in 2 minutes or less. Why is this important? Because you cannot give a very long-winded answer to this question. Remember, this is a question which is asked at the beginning of the interview. So it's normally like a conversation starter or just something to get the interview going. So if you just give like a 5 or 10 minute answer and it's a 30-minute interview, of course, you have lost your interviewer because they just asked for a summary and you have just given them the whole novel. That's not the objective. So now let's just try to rehearse this, and I'm going to put a timer to see if we can really answer this in 2 minutes or less. Hello everyone, my name is Jameel Hai, and I'm an IT professional with experience in the banking industry for almost 5 years in the United States and India. I started as an IT developer at company X in India, where my responsibilities were working with the operations team to identify the day-to-day issues with the IT systems and resolve them, and also propose new solutions that would improve the overall efficiency of the organization. The biggest highlight for me in this role was to improve our invoice processing time by 50% using some of the innovative IT solutions. As a result of that, I got the annual award for innovation from my GM. Most recently, I was the IT manager of Company Y based in Austin, where I led a team of 3 developers and 2 project managers and was responsible for a major SAP ERP upgrade. I was able to deliver the upgrade on time and on budget, although the project involved lots of unexpected problems and varying levels of expertise within my team. On the personal front, I'm married with a kid, and when I'm not working, I coach kids to play cricket at my son's school. I understand that for this position, you are looking for an IT manager with strong management, problem solving, and project implementation skills. And with my strong background in these areas, I am confident that I can be successful at this job. So you can see that in about 90 seconds or less, we were able to answer this question in a very structured way, highlighting the relevant achievements and so on, because we were prepared. So I hope you find this video helpful. If you have got any questions about this video or any of the other content that I make, feel free to reach out to me on my social media accounts, and I would be more than happy to answer your questions. See you in the next video.